All right, guys. Obviously, great to be back in our facility. Great to see all you guys out here today. Obviously, big week of work for us coming back home, transitioning back to what we're hoping is a normal schedule for our guys, and obviously a great chance to get back at home and at U.S. Bank Stadium in front of our fans for our third divisional game at home. Big opportunity against a really good, tough football team that's going to play really well and be a tough outfit to to play against. We're gonna have to be at our best, and as we continue to just try to get better and better throughout the early part of this season. I know we updated you guys on Lewis. First and foremost, happy 23rd birthday to Lewis today. We got a chance to have him be a part of our team meeting and wish him a happy birthday as a group today. It was a really special kind of moment, and hopefully we can get him back here soon. His surgery went really well. I cannot say enough good things about the care he's received in London, at the Cleveland Clinic London over there, and the doctors, the surgeons, their dialogue with our medical staff. Hoping to get him home here towards the later part of this week, hopefully. But as always, it'll be about what's best medically for Lewis, and I cannot wait to see him when we get him back here. So with that, I'll open it up to you guys.
How will he get home? Does he need like a medical plane?
There's a whatever NFL. It's either an NFL program or whatever it is that provides that transportation, so he doesn't have to fly commercial or anything like that. And we'll have obviously he's had some family that we got out there with him, and we'll bring everybody home, as well as the the Viking staff that stayed behind with him.
Did you guys surprise him with the Zoom?
Yeah, he thought it was just going to be me, and the times being so different, them being 6 hours ahead. I kept on telling him that I just got these meetings and installs. I promise I'm going to call you, and I think he probably thought something was up when we had him downloading, Zoom on his phone, and But it was a special moment in our team meeting setting to, be able to get his face up on the screen. The guys went crazy, and we sang him happy birthday, and it's no different than what we would have done if he was here. That was my intent. But just for a young player, just to solidify, how we feel about him, and just his major part of our organization, and our locker room and our players, care about him. And I think they were excited as anything because they just hadn't seen him, obviously since, he left the field on Sunday. So a really cool moment, and made better by, our players and the way they handle moments like that.
I know you were reluctant Monday to look too far ahead, but now that the surgery is done, do the medical people have good expectations that he'll be able to return to the field in 2023?
I believe so. I really do. As far as some of the, I don't want to get out in front of myself too much as far as medically speaking, but just the tissue around where the fracture was, and the fact that, we've been able to kind of limit any of the post injury damage that can sometimes take place with an open wound like that. And I know they feel great about the work that was done and what they were able to do with the surgery. Never really truly know until you go in and start repairing an injury like that. But every time I've talked with Lou, 3 or 4 times since, and then obviously seeing him today, he seems in great spirits, and he just continues to talk about how he's going to attack this process, and he knows he's coming home to hopefully a building and a support system here where we can do nothing but just help him do that and be with him every step of the way.
How much has the Alex Smith situation that you experienced weighed on you during all this?
Quite a bit. Yeah, quite a bit. That was the last time that I walked out on a field, to see, not a, I don't want to compare the injuries or anything like that, but just, seeing that and seeing, just the look on his face. And I just wanted him to know I was out there with him at the time, and that everything was going to be okay, because I believe that. And I believe that we're going to get him, first and foremost, step one was getting him fixed up and making sure we handled all the precautionary procedures that would only enhance his ability to have a great early part to his recovery, which is important, I think. And then ultimately, I just have such strong belief in Lou, his work ethic, and then the type of people, doctors and medical staff that we have here, once we get him back here. But once again, just very thankful for the care he's received over there. But it's something that I have thought about quite a bit, Kev.
Dalvin and Za'Darius kind of come out of that game feeling pretty good?
Yep. Yeah, for the most part, we came out with the guys that kind of went in with some of those little things here and there. They were able to kind of practice towards the tail end of last week and play. We'll get our work in today and just kind of assess where guys are at. You know, coming off a pretty significant travel and the schedule that was for this team. You know, we'll get some good work in today. You know, challenge these guys to get moving and have our fully padded practice tomorrow, and then you know, continue on with our Friday prep, and we'll be ready to roll come 12 o'clock on Sunday.
At home and putting on Christian Darrisaw's chain and all that. What was Kirk like on the flight back home? And did you see that incident when he put on the chain?
I didn't, because you know, it gets awfully lonely back there where I was sitting, and I don't want to say I was you know, shoulder to shoulder back there and coach, but I was not living the luxurious life up there. I saw lay flat beds up there. I saw, you know, guys enjoying themselves, and you know, I try to give those guys their space there, and the last thing they want to do, probably, they've heard me talk enough. You guys probably feel the same way sometimes. Imagine 7 hours, Chris, sitting next to me talking to you the whole time. So giving them their space, and you know, I was just glad that they had a good time and we were able to celebrate a win.
Kevin, what has impressed you most about Matt Daniels and the way he's handled that special teams unit?
You know, I think coaches in general, you know, when you can really tell that they're having an impact on their group, whether it's a position coach or a coordinator like Matt, I think the unit starts to take over some of their characteristics, and you know, they take on the traits of that coach. And from day one, you know, I've just enjoyed sitting in the back of those meetings, how he communicates, how he talks to those guys, how they feel empowered to be at their best. And you know, we've played incredibly clean football, very few penalties, guys with clear understanding of their assignments. And then, you know, as I've said, I think we've got some special players over there that, although they're not playing 60, 70 snaps on offense or defense, they're on their way to probably doing that. And in the meantime, he's empowering those guys to impact the football game the way they have. And I just, you know, can't say enough about the job both Matt and Ben Kotwicki have done with those guys. And then our leadership. You know, C.J. Ham's our special teams captain, but I could rattle off 5 or 6 other guys that set the tone every single week for that group.
Start 4-1, 3-0 in the division. Do you get a sense for how critical this week is?
I think every week is critical, and you know, we've got goals as a team, and but none more important than just, you know, understanding we were able to get another victory last week, but we put that behind us, understanding that it's about going 1-0 this week. And as we've done every single time we've gone to US Bank Stadium this year, it's been for a divisional game where we relied heavily on our home environment, and it's been unbelievable. 2 for 2 for us, kind of willing us to these victories. And I expect to have a great crowd. They've been phenomenal all year long, and I've already heard 4 or 5 of the players talk about just how excited they are to be back in front of our home fans this weekend.
How impressed were you with the way he was able to shake off that extra point miss, not miss a beat on the 47-yard game winner?
Yeah, I just continue to just tell him, you know, whether he makes it or not, you know, my confidence level could not be higher in Greg. So for him to go 5 for 5 and be the NFC Special Teams Player of the Week is not a surprise to me one bit. From the time we got rolling in the spring all the way through camp, just his consistency of how he's worked, how he treats every kick, whether it's out here at our facility or at the stadium, pregame, right on into the game. You know, he's got a clear-cut focus and plan every time he goes to hit it, and it's paying off. And he's a talented guy, mentally strong, and I think he feels the support of his teammates every time he goes out there.
Last 2 questions.
Is it a little strange to prepare for a team that's kind of built the way the offense is done for the Bears so far, with so much emphasis on the ground game and about 100 passing yards a game so far?
Yeah, I think you know, what I see when I turn the tape on is a really physical group. How they're running the football. You know, obviously, I've got a lot of respect for both of their backs that they've, you know, really featured, and both those guys play off each other really well. I think they've got a real diverse run scheme where there's a lot of different variations that you got to be prepared for. And then obviously the quarterback's an extremely talented young player who every single time he goes out there you feel him getting better and better, and those coaches are doing a great job with him, and they've got dynamic skill outside. They can run by you. They can, you know, they've got some guys that can change direction and just change the game. So you really have to be locked in. It's going to be a heck of a challenge for our defense, and we cannot have one moment you know, any kind of lapse, or it could be a really big play for any multitude of particular reasons. So got to have a good plan, challenging those guys really to, you know, put their best performance out there yet, and I think we're going to need it.
What are some of the hallmarks of Matt Eberflus's defensive scheme?
Yeah, I think it's just the one thing is they play so hard, they fly around. You can almost, you talked a lot about Matt Daniels and you know, personalities coming through in your grouping. Well, his personality, as well as I know him, is coming out in his team. You know, attention to detail, unbelievable, you know, amount of effort, and just you could tell they love playing with one another. They've had some kind of emotional victories here, and you know, team building type wins like we kind of have as well. And it's still, you know, you feel a lot of similarities as far as it's early on in the building of kind of the program you're putting together. And these Sundays are so big to go out and learn a lot about your team, but continue to try to improve. And I just think I've always had so much respect for him as a defensive coach in this league, but also just as a leader, you know, leader of men, and his team certainly looks like they're headed in the right direction.
Back to Matt Daniels and giving out the special teams hats and stuff. How much pride do those guys have in wearing that, and just pride in general, those special teams guys, just on being on the unit?
Yeah, I think it's a real deal thing, and it's funny because you see a lot of guys, people around the building, coaches that, you know, offensive coaches and defensive coaches wearing them. You know, I think I try to wear mine, and they tell me it looks funny on my head. So I'll try to wear it just so they know I got it and I support him. But I think it's just a cool thing he does. I mean, there's so many little things that you could really get into as far as just the details of which he builds the relationships with those guys, and really the accountability amongst that group, and the leadership, like I said, has really gravitated to how Matt has built that thing.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, guys.